Okay, Saturday night with Manitoba pork and Susan Reese. Recipe number 1, sausage, kale, and potato soup. This sounds so hearty, so stick to the ribs, good stuff. So how do we get started on this one?
Okay, so we're going to start off with some pork sausage. So pork sausage, very economical, various different textures. You can get different distinct flavors, so lots of options when it comes to sausage. For this recipe, we've got 2 options. You can use a chorizo, which is this one up here. This is like a Spanish, Portuguese roots in this type of sausage.
A little bit of heat?
A little bit of heat, mostly smoky.
Okay.
But the key ingredient is paprika, which is giving it its color. Or you can opt for an Italian sausage, which is what we're going to use today. You can get hot or mild, so some options there as well. But more garlic and herbs infused into this sausage and a little bit more savory.
Okay.
So what we did is we took the casing off the sausage. So you're going to want to do that first. It really helps if the sausage is a little bit frozen because the casing just comes off that much easier.
It does kind of mush up sometimes if it's...
It does.
Yeah.
And then when you slice it into about 1-inch pieces, it also helps with the slicing because the sausage meat isn't getting stuck on your knife.
Right.
So just a handy little tip to remember when you're making sausage this way.
Pork kitchen hack.
Yeah. And then once the sausage is cooked, you want to cook it almost all the way through. It'll cook a little bit in the soup, but not a whole lot. And it's ground meat, so you want to make sure it's cooked through. We're going to drain it on a plate with some paper towel.
Are we ready to do that now?
Yeah, you can bring that over. Oops, bring that over. That would be great. And I'm going to try to do this without... just don't move
injuring me.
Don't move the plate. Okay, there we go.
Great success.
Did not lose anything. Yay.
Okay. All right.
So we'll just leave that off to the side. You might want to cover it with a little bit of foil just to keep the sausage warm. No matter how you cook them, fresh pork sausages are an economical and tasty way to liven up a meal. They're great on the barbecue, pan-fried whole, or you can slice them for quick cooking and adding to other ingredients. But the best part about using fresh pork sausage in a meal is that any spices and herbs are already infused right into the meat, which helps shorten your prep time. And then we're going to start the base of our soup. So we've got some onion and garlic sauteing here.
Classic, gotta have it.
Can't have soup without that. We're going to start adding our other ingredients. So we've got some red potatoes that we've cut into little rectangular pieces.
And does it matter, like sometimes recipes will call for red potato, the russet potato. Is there a difference in terms of how it cooks up in a soup? Probably not.
I think there is a little bit of a difference. I like this potato because the red skin adds some color, some fiber. You leave the skin on, but also the potato holds together really nicely. Going to add some carrot, and then we've got quite a bit of chicken stock. So pour that one in.
17 cups of stock. So this is where this nutrition...
Only 8.
Only. But this is, again, like this whole nutritious piece, like, because again, your recipes, this is all about flavor.
Yeah.
But this is also about eating really well and nourishing yourself.
And having like meat and veg together. So
Yeah.
we've got some diced tomato here that we're going to put in as well, a whole can of that. And then we're going to add a little bit of balsamic vinegar, just give it a little bit of sweetness.
Okay.
That's
is that
maybe
cabbage,
something different. And absolutely, we've got some cabbage as well. Put that in. And that's going to cook right down. So.
Yeah, it doesn't
And
usually take very
then
long
just
either.
for a little bit of extra heat, I like things spicy.
Oh, so do I, as it
We're
turns
gonna
out.
put in a few drops of hot pepper sauce. And then to top it all off, we've got a bay leaf that we're gonna throw in.
Yeah. Okay. So this could almost already be a soup. Just
Exactly.
Well,
we still have the best part to come, right?
But
so,
look at this. You've got so much in there already.
Yeah. So we're going to bring this to a boil and then reduce the heat and let it simmer for about 20 minutes. You want to put the lid on while it's simmering.
Yeah, which kind of helps, I guess, that cabbage cook down a little bit if it's...
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
And then we've got our soup here that's already cooked down.
There it is.
And you can see like all the flavors have combined nicely together.
Oh yeah. Oh, have they ever?
We're going to add some white kidney beans at this point.
Something I've started doing with my beans too, by the way, is like you can get them in the can, but I've been sort of experimenting with letting them soak and then cooking
Oh,
them.
wow.
And it's incredible.
Nice.
Just kind of perks up the texture and the flavor just a little bit. But you don't need to do that. It's just I'm kind of proud of myself.
Sure. And then we're going to add our reserved sausage back in.
Okay, the star of the show.
Minus the paper towel.
Right, preferably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, you know, you can just see that that takes up a little bit of the extra little grease or fat that came out of the sausage, which you don't necessarily want in the soup. Keep
And
that
then,
back too.
for
Then
sure.
we're going to add our kale. So,
Yeah.
important step here with the kale.
Okay.
So kale, like some vegetables, like green beans and spinach will do the same thing. The pH kind of changes in the kale when it's cooking. So it'll turn brown if it cooks too much,
okay.
which just something to remember. So if you're making this soup at home and you can see that it gives quite a bit, portion out, like if you're gonna have leftovers, you're not gonna eat the whole pot, portion out some of it and leave the kale out.
Right.
And only put the kale in once you are ready to actually reheat and serve. And that's gonna keep that kale nice and fresh.
One of those things that you just kind of put in right before.
Right at the end.
Yeah.
And it cooks down to nothing. And so you can keep adding more kale.
And again, cooks down gets smaller, right?
Yeah, it basically.
Much like the cabbage, right? Yeah.
Wilts a little bit.
Yeah, for sure.
And then you're just gonna wanna cook that for just a little bit more, like maybe 5 or 6 minutes.
Okay.
And then your soup is served.
Are we putting any of those, or that's already been salted and peppered, seasoned here?
You can season it more once you taste it.
Okay,
You know what? We'll just add a little bit more pepper and a little bit more salt. I use sodium reduced everything in all of my ingredients, so you might want to season it a little bit with salt and
A little
pepper
bit more. Okay.
at the end.
Well, I would very much like to try this.
Yeah,
so
go
I'm gonna
for it.
just have a little ladle here. One thing I was going to ask is this something that you could freeze this soup? Is that or not
You
so
know,
much?
probably not so much. Not with the potato in there,
I guess.
especially with the kale. I would just eat it fresh. This feeds
Okay.
a crowd, so perfect for one of those nights when you have people over impromptu or whatever.
All right, I'm going to give this a go. When we come back, our pork and cashew curry here on Great Taste. Don't go away.